guys, welcome back to my channel. Do me a huge favor and hit my subscribe button. Help a girl out a little bit. I'm at a place called Broughton Asylum. Cemetery, North Carolina's most haunted hospital, is actually just right down the hill from here. Cemetery is right here. This hospital has an extensive history of activity between mysterious deaths, prisoners escaping, hidden tunnels, and there was actually even a few books published about the place. Now, this is not too far from where I live. It's over in Morganton, North Carolina, which is maybe a 20-minute drive from me. I've been out here 3 times trying to film this place. Each time it would get rained out or my pictures would come out really distorted. But today, I'm gonna do what I came here to do and do an EVP session. Now, before I get too in depth with this video, there's actually several places in this area where infants were buried. They were disposed of for one reason or another. There were patients who had babies out of wedlock, who abandoned their babies on the doorstep at this place, and they put the infants out in the cemetery. Now, I know there's one section back here close to where you walk in the gates, and then there's another one down that hill. This cemetery is a little bigger than it looks. I've been out here a few times just to kind of get it mapped out. Now, with this place, and as with most asylums, you had patients mixed in with people who shouldn't be here. It was this hodgepodge mix of people who needed psychiatric care and people who just really didn't. People who were old, people who had no other family to take care of them, mixed in with criminals and the mentally ill. So I imagine a lot took place here. Is there anybody out here that wishes to communicate? I'm very sad that a lot of you ended up here. How did some of you end up here? Were you murdered? Did the doctors here treat you fairly? How was your stay in the asylum? I see some of you still get visitors. There's flowers. There's flowers on a lot of the graves out here. If anybody wishes to speak, now's the time. I've been trying for 3 times to do this, so please make it worth my while. Hooray for camera distortion. This is a new phone too. I'm actually filming on my Galaxy S10 that I just bought, and it's already... There's nothing wrong with this phone. It's brand new. I took some pictures with my other phone, my Galaxy S8, and one of them came out really distorted. And I came out here to try to recreate the photos just to see if I could get it to have the same effect, or just to see if I could kind of paste one photo on top of the other to see if I can recreate it. It never worked. It didn't work. We couldn't debunk that photo. But this is a brand new phone. I bought it just the other day, and I'm already getting all kinds of weird distortions out here. Hello? Dining room? Dining room? Was that your favorite place to go? Was their dining room? If you look up the cemetery, there's a lot of mysterious deaths that occurred in this hospital. Everybody was labeled as a schizophrenic, which back then, schizophrenia had like this really broad term. Like you can have a headache and be labeled as a schizophrenic. I'm not saying there weren't schizophrenics here. There probably were. North Carolina Department of Human Services is not. They don't have the higher standards. They don't have the highest standards when it comes to their... What was that? Can you please repeat that? I was trying to say North Carolina Department of Human Services, which this was ran by North Carolina Department of Human Services, don't have the highest standards when it comes to care, especially when it comes to asylums. A little footnote, look into the history of North Carolina and mental health. I can? I can and I have. Where are you? And a lot of these graves are unaccounted for. There's actually, I think the last I heard was a couple hundred graves still unaccounted for here. Guys, look at this. That is pretty neat. I've come across a lot of interesting headstones and monuments. That's really neat. Okay, I am like way in the back. You are too? I am? This place is definitely weird. I think I might drive by some of the buildings before I go too. Just to give you guys a generalized idea of how large the property actually is. So real quickly, one of the people that was walking around in the parking lot has been following me back and forth. I think my husband noticed because my husband got out of the car and is back there. So my husband is always keeping an eye out too, even though he has trouble walking because of his muscular dystrophy. He sits in the car and he watches me. He drives around and makes sure that, you know, I'm okay and not in any harm's way. Where is he? Right there. My husband is right there. So I'm good. I'm always safe, guys. And now he's coming up that way. Can't a girl do an EVP session in peace? Just act like I belong here and maybe he'll leave. Well, that's what I like about you sitting in the car. People don't see you. Because you're parked over by the trees and by the gate. They don't see you. And I saw you coming out of the car. I'm like, oh, he saw him too for sure.
You walked by the car 3 times.
Okay, I'm going to this side now. Anybody over here wish to communicate at the moment? Now's your chance to talk. Does anybody wish to communicate? That was loud, whoever that was. Thank you. I'm now making my way closer to the front. I walked around and now I'm coming up the right side, making my way up to the front gates. If anybody wishes to talk, now's your time. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was a little kid's voice. Can you do that again? That was so cool and so strange at the same time. There's an ambulance down the road at the hospital, actually. At the asylum. The asylum is, by the way, still fully functioning. It has its own police department. It has its own mini college. It's like a self-sustaining asylum. They have livestock. They have vineyards. They have gardens. They really tried to hold their own here at one point. I guess they try to keep everybody as active as possible. Whoa. Let me go slowly. It's right here. Whatever that was, it was this little space, like within 2 steps of each other. What was that? So weird. I'm sorry if these doctors treated you in any malicious way. They performed lobotomies and all kinds of procedures that should have been outlawed. Electroshock therapy, removal of organs, forced sterilization. That was unfair to you. Now we are going to drive around the property just to give you guys an idea about how large this institution is. I'm not going to run my spirit box because we are in the car and I don't want any interference from anything. But this place is really, really huge. I don't know how many acres. I'm sure you can find that information. But it's got its own farm. It's got its own police department. It's got its own bank. It's got its own college, like a community college, adult education classes type thing. There's some of the property down there. Not only is there patient housing, but there's also, I don't want to say apartments because I don't know if that's what they actually are, but it's like a step up from inpatient housing. It's like you can live here, have your own apartment, and they can still come in and keep an eye on you. Let's try not to get committed today, please.
Oh no, we'll be prosecuted.
If you go down that way, that's where I took that really weird picture that we can't seem to debunk. And we tried several times. It's got its own church. That is super cool. I'm attracted to that building over there.
Looks like an insane asylum should be.
Yeah.
Big stairwell.
That's the Harper building. It is super cool.
Super old.
Super old and super cool.
I don't know if we're supposed to be back here.
I don't know if we're supposed to be back here either.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we've taken this before. Just seen it from a different side. It's right there's the power grid.
Yeah. Yeah, turn down here. We'll go down here and we'll go as far as we can without breaking any laws.
Yeah.
Still have to try to remain respectful. What is that? The Western Piedmont Trail System? I don't think we're supposed to be on this road. I think it's a trail. Yeah, I think we made a wrong turn.
That's good.